All right, hello everyone. How's everyone doing today? Hope you all are doing all right. So yes, of course, again, I am live again. So anyways, um anybody in the stream yet? Anyways, I'm just gonna get started on this because let me get my pen tool going. So um here's what we have right now, and of course, uh, the twin tropical cyclones, and Marco is officially a Category 1 hurricane with maximum sustained winds up to 75 miles an hour with a pressure of 991 millibars. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, and let's get into Hurricane Marco because this is supposed to make landfall tomorrow. I am ready for storms tomorrow. Well, good to hear. If you're in the path of storms, stay safe. So, as we can see here, here's a tropical storm force wind speed probabilities, and doesn't look like we have any 90s over anywhere, although we do have very high wind potentials all in the reds and the yellows. I mean, anyone in this whole area here is at risk for damaging winds from the storm. So but if you ask me, people in here in the 30% or maybe even in the 50% and higher will probably be seeing tropical storm force winds. So this is what we're seeing. This is from Marco. Well, this here's from Marco, and this here's from Laura, because of course we do have two storms closing up on the Gulf Coast. Well, one of them is right now closing up, but the other one, Laura, will be closing up just 48 hours after. A very rare phenomenon, as we're seeing in the Gulf of Mexico. Hello, hi people. How you doing? Hope you're doing great. If you are, good to hear. So yeah, again, very rare phenomenon, seeing two tropical systems in the Gulf at the same time. Well, I don't think really at the same time, because one of them will be over land, but the other one will be in the Gulf. So, but the same area will be seeing two tropical systems, which is not good news for Louisiana. So, yep, there's the tropical storm force wind risk. 50 knot wind speed, 58 mile an hour winds, probability. You know, for some people, it might not seem like it's a lot, but it is a lot. That can do damage. 58 mile an hour wind speed. Well, wind speeds can do a lot. So, this here from Marco, and of course this here is from Laura. This is within the next 5 days. So here's Marco, and then Laura is right here. I'll get into Laura after I do Marco, but Marco is going to be the big story at the moment. I will do some Laura as well, but it will be a lot of Marco in the stream. So we don't see those really high valleys over land, but we do see some chances of these winds over land on the coast of Louisiana. So hurricane force wind probability, we do have chances for that on the coast of Louisiana. This year's Marco, and this year's Laura. So I have some fairly low chances of that in here, but it's possible that they will. Actually, right here they could really see it, because this is where it's going to be making landfall, somewhere in here. Speaking of that, let's actually get to the cone and the track here. So yes, of course, here's the track. Let's actually have the track line on here. And yes, it is supposed to be making land. It doesn't look like it's going to be making too much of a landfall. It's kind of going to pass under, but it'll really make landfall whenever it gets to here. Maybe make a small landfall right there, but right there is when it makes a larger landfall, and this is Marco. So of course, the same area where Laura is going to come up and just make landfall there. Unfortunately, in this area here is where Laura is going to be making landfall, but we'll get into Laura in a bit. So we do have some hurricane warnings in effect for the coast of Louisiana. In the reds there, and in the blues we see tropical storm warnings right there and right there. And also right here on the coast of Alabama, we do see a tropical storm watch. So that basically means that there's the potential for tropical storm force winds in that area. The warnings mean that it's going to happen. Hurricane force winds will happen. Tropical storm force winds will most likely happen. It means most likely. Probably shouldn't say will. Most likely. Most likely should be the correct thing for me to say. But yes, most likely will happen. We do also have some storm surge warnings on the coast of Louisiana. Basically where the hurricane warning is. So speaking of storm surge, peak storm surge, here is the storm surge rates. So as we can see here, we do have 1 to 3 foot storm surge on the coast there in between Sabine Pass, hope I'm saying that right, correct me if I'm wrong, and Intracoastal City, 2 to 4 feet where Morgan City is, in 4 to 6 feet, pretty high up, in the mouth of the Mississippi River, 3 to 5 feet in Lake Bourne, hope I'm saying that right, and 1 to 3 feet on the coast of Alabama and parts of Mississippi. So that's what we have for storm surge. Very dangerous, so please keep in mind storm surge can be very dangerous. More dangerous whenever it's higher up, like the 4 to 6 foot storm surge. That's very dangerous. So U.S. rainfall potential. So here's the rainfall potential, and as we can see, we see 4 inches of rain projected for anyone in the yellow. Quite a lot of rain, by the way. Big flooding potential. 2 inches of rain in the dark green, and in the lime we see 1 inch of rain. So flash flooding potential, we can see a 10% slight in the yellow, of course, and in the marginal green is a 5% risk for flash flooding. So flash flooding, pretty dangerous. Here's the thing, it's not just the wind that we have to worry about with these tropical systems, it's also the rain and the storm surge, and also the tornadoes. Don't get me wrong. Um, those are the things that we need to worry about with these systems because they can be very dangerous. Um, the strong winds plus all the rain, storm surge, and the tornadoes. That can cause a lot. Speaking of tornadoes, actually, we do have a 5% tornado risk on the coast of Louisiana and Alabama, or Mississippi, and parts of the coast of Alabama right there. So could be some possible isolated tornadoes in anywhere in here. So that is why we have the slight risk for tomorrow there. So let's get back to here. And as we can see, tomorrow, yes, of course, tomorrow at 1 p.m., it'll really near the coast of Louisiana. So hopefully everybody is prepared for this storm, because today was kind of their last day to get prepared for this, because it does near Louisiana tomorrow and potentially make landfall. So it actually does look to be making landfall just right there on the coast. So and then by Wednesday, it's going to move, or 1 a.m. Wednesday, it's going to move into Texas over Houston, and 1 p.m. Wednesday, little stay in Texas. So then that's it as remnants with tropical depression force winds. Or yeah. So that's what we have for Marco for right now on the Hurricane Center warnings. You can take a look at that again. The warnings. We do have a hurricane warning for much of the coast there in Louisiana, eastern part of the coast, and then western part of the coast. We have a tropical storm warning. This means that there's a high potential for hurricane force winds in the hurricane warning and tropical storm force winds in the tropical storm warning. So that's something to keep in mind. Storm surge warnings are in effect, as I've heard. Do have some hurricane watches in there with a tropical storm watch there, which does mean potential for her tropical storm force winds. So of course does have history of producing tropical storm force winds in there in the ocean, in the Gulf. So prayers to anyone in the path of this storm, please, because Category 1 hurricane can still do a lot. It can still do a lot of damage. Think of Isaias. Did billions of dollars of damage, as I've heard. And it was the Category 1, and it did actually do most of its damage from it being a tropical storm. So think about it. Tropical storms can be very damaging. Tropical systems, any tropical system can be very damaging. So, just with it having, 50-mile-an-hour winds doesn't mean it's not going to do damage. It's going to do damage. And it can do a lot. So, and if you're told to evacuate the area, please do it, because there's a reason why they tell you. It's because there's imminent danger going on within your area. So, always good to keep up to date with your local officials. But anyways, that is what we have for Marco. We are actually going to go ahead and go back and take a look at Hurricane Laura, Tropical Storm Laura at the moment. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, so that has strengthened a little. With a central pressure of 1,000 millibars, and moving west-northwest at 21 miles an hour. This is for Tropical Storm Laura. So just going to take a look at the wind speed probabilities, and as we can see, large line of just red there, so that is some high wind speed probabilities for tropical storm force winds. Do have those purples in the Caribbean, Haiti, Cuba, so that means that you will obviously be getting tropical storm force winds. This is for the Caribbean at the moment, but it will go up and make landfall, unfortunately, in the same area or a very similar area where Marco does make landfall, which is not good news, unfortunately. 50 knots or 58-mile-an-hour wind speed probabilities, as we can see, not very many high risks down there, at most of 20%, but that does still mean something. We do see a lot of that up here. This here is from Marco, so that's from Marco, but up here we do see some of that up here, or I said up here twice. I apologize about that. Sorry, English sometimes, don't get me wrong. Anyway, back to what I was doing. We do see some of that up here, but it really could change whenever it does get closer and closer to the coast. So something to keep in mind, changes can happen with the track. Hurricane wind speed probabilities, Marco right there, and what's a highlight in blue is for Laura. So that is for Laura. 30% chance for hurricane force wind probabilities in the ocean, but could change whenever it does get closer to the coast. So I would not be surprised on that. Warning and track and cone. We see, for the warnings anyway, we do see tropical storm warnings for Haiti, which those are probably going to expire soon because it has moved out of their area. Tropical storm warnings for all of Cuba, and tropical storm watches issued for the Keys in Florida. Very similar track where, or pretty much the same area where Marco goes, unfortunately. So that's a double for Louisiana in this area here. Lake Charles, Lafayette are in the main path of the storm, unfortunately. Houston could be seeing effects. New Orleans, Baton Rouge could be seeing effects from this too. And thing is, it could really linger up and go to kind of the northeast, and it could potentially affect the mid-Atlantic, unfortunately. So this thing's going to travel up and pretty much go all into the East Coast, but that's not a 100% guarantee. Right here is what we know where it's going to go. Here we're slightly positive, but not overly 100% positive about that. It is supposed to strengthen into a Category 2 by 2 p.m. Wednesday and then make landfall later that day on Wednesday at around maybe 5 p.m. or in the evening that day. Let's just say the evening. So Yes, this is the path and cone for Tropical Storm Laura, potentially major hurricane. Well, shouldn't say major, but I'll just say potential Hurricane Laura, because we don't know if it's going to be a major hurricane or not. There is a trend with the wind just going up, so it's possible that it could reach major hurricane status. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not a guarantee, but it could. And if you don't know what a major hurricane, or if you don't know the category for a major hurricane, it's 3 and up. 3, 4, and 5. Those are major hurricane status. So, rainfall potential. We have this one up and going now. Yesterday we didn't, but now they have it up. So, looks like we're seeing 6 inches of rain in the orange. So this is obviously going to be a stronger storm than Marco. So, yeah, 6 inches of rain in the oranges. That'll really cause the flash flooding. 4 inches of rain in the yellow. And in the true green, dark green, we have 2 inches of rain predicted to fall in there. And then in the lime, 1 inch of rain will fall. Well, that's what we have projected anyway. It does not look like we have any flash flood potential models up yet for Laura, but maybe soon, probably by maybe tomorrow, we will have those up. So, warnings. This is for Laura. Let me just review this again. Tropical storm warnings for Haiti may expire soon because it has moved out of the area. For Cuba, all of Cuba is in a tropical storm warning, and for the Florida Keys is in a tropical storm watch, which means that there's a potential for them to get tropical storm force winds from the storm. So that's what we have for right now on the Hurricane Center. The 2 twin tropical cyclones, Laura and Marco, which is about to make landfall tomorrow on the 24th of August. So, prayers to anyone in the path of both of these, because, I mean, these are going to be making, hitting the same area within the 48-hour period. So let's go ahead and get into the GFS forecast models here. Now, as we can see, let's bring our thing down to the southeast. Now, as we can see here, obviously that is Marco with a pressure of 997 millibars. So this is gonna move northwest into Louisiana and make landfall. That's what this is saying, and then it pretty much dies out after that. So you see the little remnants there, but by this time it kind of dies out. And then there's big hurricane Laura. Shouldn't say it's going to be a big one because we don't know that for a fact. Still kind of far out. We are more confident with Marco, but not much for Laura at the moment. But yeah, take a look at this. This looks to be a fairly decent hurricane with a pressure 958 millibars, and that looks like it will be making landfall in Texas near Houston, and it'll pretty much right up the Texas and Louisiana border there, and potentially even affect Oklahoma. That's what this is saying, the GFS, but it's not a guarantee that'll happen. And then it does linger off into the northeast and will affect the mid-Atlantic. So Unfortunately, it does say that the Mid-Atlantic will get it after them getting Isaias, so very unfortunate there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the NOM. See what this one here is saying. So it is loading. All right, it just got done loading. And here's what this is saying. This one does say the pressure is a bit lower right here with a pressure of 989. That's what the NOM is saying for Marco. And that'll pretty much just move up and make landfall. Well, this one's saying it's going to be making landfall in Mississippi. Or I could be wrong about that. Louisiana, but the mouth there is where it's going to be making landfall, and then it's going to linger kind of west. So, and yes, of course, down there is Hurricane Laura with a pressure of 987. Obviously, will be a much stronger hurricane than Marco. So, thing is, Marco could be encountering wind shear, just a little bit of wind shear, so that's gonna pretty much kind of keep it from developing into too much, but not for Laura. So Laura could be seeing potential rapid intensification. So that's something to look out for, is rapid intensification with the extremely warm sea surface temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico. Bathtub warm. That's 88 to 90 degrees. So that's very warm. Very warm. Hot tub, I should say. So here it says it's going to have a very low pressure, saying pressure of 921. So that's like almost a Category 5 hurricane. About. So that is a strong thing of pressure, 921, 924. So, I mean, if this is the case, then it could be pretty severe, but not a guarantee. But it's not a guarantee. Right now we're saying it's going to be a Category 2, but at most I do think it'll be a Cat 3. At most. That's right now. But it's not 100% a guarantee because it is far out. This is according to the NOM. So anyways, so here's this kind of the satellite imagery of Marco. It's for Marco here, and this is around 2 hours ago. So let's actually bring that up to now, and here's where it is right now. There's the center, and that'll be lingering up and kind of making landfall in this area here. Will affect the cities of New Orleans, Baton Rouge, which is somewhere in there, Lafayette, which is in there, and Lake Charles, also in there. Houston could affect them too. This could be very dangerous, could bring down a lot of rain. Wind is not the only thing that you need to be concerned about. It's also the rain. Storm surge, another thing, and tornadoes, another thing. 10% tornado chance, or not a 10%, a 5% tornado chance for Louisiana for tomorrow from the Hurricane Marco. So we're going to take a look at the sustained winds here. And as we can see, right now it is saying that it is fairly, it does not have that much wind, but right now it's got 75 sustained winds. So let's just look at it as that. gusts. Here's the gusts. And does look like New Orleans, all of those areas on the coast could be seeing very gusty winds from Marco. And then, of course, there's Laura making landfall. Same area is what this is saying. All these models are saying different things. We don't know much about Laura. Not really much. Well, we do know quite a lot from Marco, but not 100% confident about that one. So, anyways, yes, that's Laura. Of course, there's Marco. There's all the rain there, and it looks like New Orleans could be impacted quite a lot with heavy rain, as we can see there. 2 inches of rain, almost 3 inches of rain there. So something to keep in mind. Flash flooding, very big potential at that case. So rain accumulation, you see some very high rain accumulation rates all on the coast of Louisiana. We're seeing 5 inches of rain right on the coast there. Hello, Fish Gang. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. If you are, great to hear. I'm glad you joined into today's stream because we are discussing about Hurricane Marco's landfall, which will happen tomorrow. So again, prayers to anyone in the path of these storms. Will be very dangerous out there. So evacuate if told to do so, please. Looks like New Orleans could be seeing a lot of rain. It is right on sea level, so it could really bring a lot of flash flooding, unfortunately. So, and this is within the next 3 days, and they could be seeing even more rain from Laura, so that is a double, unfortunately. Rare occurrence of seeing 2 tropical systems in the Gulf within a 48-hour period, so that is very unusual to see. Yeah, it's pretty unusual to see, actually. So wind accumulations, of course, wind. Not the only issue. Some people probably do think that it's not the only issue. Again, storm surge, flooding, rain, tornadoes, another big one. Sea surface temperatures, let's take a look at that because, these sea surface temperatures are insane. 88 degrees, 87, 88, that's really warm, so that'll really intensify Laura quickly, unfortunately. Could become a very large hurricane. If not a major hurricane. So it's potential, but it's not a guarantee. So that one we're not 100% confident about yet, but we do see a lot of potential with Laura at the moment from the sea surface temperatures and low wind shear. So that'll really help it intensify. So that is what we are seeing on this here for sea surface temperatures. So, also, I should probably discuss about the tropical cyclone statements and basically what they mean. Well, it's basically kind of it's information about the tropical systems, and they issue them every once in a while when conditions continue to warrant. So, can you look at the models and tracks? I sure can do that again. I did earlier, but I will look at that again over for you. So I'll go and discuss about Marco again. Just keep you guys up to date, have it in your mind. So here is Marco. Pretty high wind potentials for the Louisiana coast. A little part of that there is in the 90% wind chance, but right there is where we're seeing it. We're pretty much in the 60% or 50% wind risk for tropical storm force winds. Pretty much we'll see it from Marco anyway. So here's from Marco, and this here's from Laura. The warnings in cone track. So here's what we're seeing for the track for Marco. And as we can see, those make a small landfall there. Or pretty much almost passes them, but looks to be a very small landfall right on the tip there. And then it'll really make its landfall there, but small landfall very early on Tuesday, very late on Monday. But this will really affect Louisiana on Monday. So, hope every one of you guys are prepared for the storm. Do you think Houston will get impacted by Laura? It's quite potential that they will get impacted. So, very potential that they will. It's not a guarantee, but it's very likely, as we're seeing. So that's the rainfall. 4 inches in the yellow, 2 inches in the dark green, and 1 inch in the lime. So peak surge. Here's the storm surge. 1 to 3 feet right there. Hello, Brian. How are you doing today? I know you're cool, master. I know you're cool, master, because you know of the icon you got. Yeah, 1 to 3 foot storm surge. Weather Channel now predicting Laura will have max of 105 mile-an-hour winds. So that's Category 2 status. At least the electro. Yep. Yeah, that's cool, Master Brian Shee. So, storm surge, very dangerous. That can really cause a lot of coastal flooding, and it's very dangerous. If it's very high, it can be unsurvivable. So, we're seeing max storm surge of 4 to 6 feet on the lowest part of the coast of Louisiana, which is pretty high. Laura already killed 8 people. Prayers to everyone in the path of these. flash flooding, 10% slight in the yellow there, and 5% marginal in the green there. Could potentially cause flash flooding. I did say this yesterday. I did say this yesterday's stream. New Orleans is actually under sea level, so that'll really cause a lot of flash flooding. Do you think Laurel could could turn into a Category 5? That's debatable, but, well, not debatable. I do not think it, well, it's possible. It's a low possibility, but it's possible. That's probably what I should say. At most, well, my biggest possibility is a Cat 3. OMG, this is like Katrina. Okay, about that, don't say it's gonna be another Katrina or another Harvey, because we don't know, and it's, don't compare two hurricanes. Don't compare a hurricane to another one. That's a big thing. Just don't do it. It's, every hurricane is different. Every storm is different. Next living weather. If Laura moves west of the cone and misses Cuba, it might strengthen more. Very well true, actually. Yet I said again. Warm sea surface temperatures, low wind shear. That has a chance of rapid intensification. So I'll actually show the GFS model again for you guys who didn't see it yet, because I did actually review this yesterday, but I didn't I reviewed it earlier in the stream, but I don't think any of you guys were really here for that, so I'll just review it again. So right now it is saying that it does have 997, which is interesting because it right now does have 991 millibars of pressure. But this one here is actually, well, this is the GFS model, and it says that it's going to be making landfall right on the tip of the coast of Louisiana, the eastern tip of Louisiana, and then it kind of dies out and then moves west. That's Marco right there. Yeah, it's pretty much just an extra, or just an extra tropical cyclone at that point, and then it's just remnants at that point, and then dies out whenever it goes into Houston. And of course, this here is Hurricane Laura, and it says that it's got a central pressure of 989 millibars, and it's got a strong pressure. Right here it says it has a pressure of 958 whenever it nears the Texas and Louisiana coast. And then this one actually says that it's going to be making landfall on Texas and Louisiana, and it's going to just ride up the Texas and Louisiana border, and then potentially linger off into the northeast and affect the mid-Atlantic. But that is not 100% a guarantee at this time, because it is far out for them to really predict this fully. But this one, Laura, has a bigger potential for landfall, or, well, I mean, they both have potential for landfall, and they will be making landfall at some point. But what I meant to say was Laura does have more potential for strength. Can the remnants of Tropical Storm Marco help and feed into Laura? Answer is no. You can never exactly predict hurricanes. They may strengthen, weaken, or dissipate at any time. True. That's pretty true, yes. But seeing these two hurricanes, we know that they're probably going to be strengthening into hurricanes. Laura, we probably know is going to strengthen into a hurricane. It already is kind of strengthening as it is moving over the Caribbean with a central pressure of 1,000 millibars. So, but Laura could really become a big concern. So let's go ahead and review Laura again, because I don't think some of you guys were here whenever I did review Laura from earlier in the stream. So here's the wind speed probabilities for Laura. And we do see some of those 90% tropical storm force wind chances in Cuba. And then we can see that path just going up into Texas there. Path, got to take a look at the path because that's very important. So the path, as we're seeing, streams ending, not yet. I'll go for another maybe 20 minutes and then I'll end it. And then tomorrow, of course, I'll probably be live streaming for live coverage for landfall of for Hurricane Marco. I mean, it affects. Tomorrow's the big day for Marco and the Gulf Coast. Louisiana, I should say, in specific. So here's the path for Laura. And at this point here, it's a Category 2 hurricane with winds at 105 miles an hour. Very strong winds, by the way. That will do damage. That will really do a lot of damage. So but it could potentially be projected to be a major hurricane whenever it does move into the Gulf of Mexico. Well, flash flood warning, Mohave County, Arizona. They always get flash flood warnings in Arizona. When is the next advisory for Tropical Storm Laura? Like tropical cyclone statement or hurricane local statement? Is that what you mean? I mean, if that's what you do mean, then usually they issue them every once in a while. 11 p.m. Alright, 11 p.m. As Fish said. So this is for Hurricane, Hurricane or potential Hurricane Laura. I mean, it's probably going to be a hurricane whenever it does get to the Gulf of Mexico because warm sea surface temperatures and low wind shear. So 11 Eastern EST, 10 CDT, 9 MST, and 8 PDT. That's the time. So yeah, pretty much whenever it does, probably even get to around here, it could strengthen into a hurricane. Because as I said, warm sea surface temperatures and low wind shear. So it could be a major hurricane. So they issue it every 3 hours. U.S. rainfall potential. So here's the rainfall potential for Laura. This here is from Marco. That is really bad. This here is from Marco, and this here is from Laura, and that really does expand up and eastward into kind of Arkansas there and parts of Missouri, and that's the 2-inch rain markers there. So wait, hold on, guys. Apologize about that. Anyways, continue what I was saying. 6 inches of rain in the orange there. So that's a lot of rain, and that will cause flash flooding. We don't have our flash flood potential models up yet because it is too far out, but probably by tomorrow we'll have that. 2-inch or 4-inch rain in the yellows there, and in the dark green is 2-inch amounts of rain, and in the limes is 1 inch. So yeah, this will possibly cause a lot of flash flooding within the track of this storm. So here's the alerts at the moment for Laura. Haiti, tropical storm warning, probably will get expired soon. For all of Cuba is in a tropical storm warning, and for the Florida Keys, they are in a tropical storm watch. So we're going to take a look at some of the advisories or some of the alerts for the Gulf Coast as we are seeing right now. So we are seeing a hurricane warning for Louisiana, for the coast there. Tropical storm warning. SPC outlooks day 3 northeast and parts of mid-Atlantic are in a slight risk. I did see that, which was very interesting to see. I was not expecting that, but big severe weather day on day 3. So for a lot of the East Coast anyway. So back to what I was saying, hurricane warning for parts of the Louisiana coast there, which means that they will be seeing hurricane force winds, or it's most likely they will. Tropical storm warning for the blues there, parts of Louisiana coast, and parts of Mississippi coast, which most likely they will be seeing tropical storm force winds. Tropical storm watch, potential tropical storm. Well, they potentially will be seeing tropical storm force winds. So, and this thing has had a history of tropical storm force winds in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. Day 2 slight risk which includes Minneapolis. Um, so cone path, Marco. We'll show this again. So this is the cone path here and the track of it. This is our best guess of where it's going to go, and it probably will go that way. But anyways, so this is for Marco. And around tomorrow, Laura could be, or not. Well, Laura will be affecting the Caribbean tomorrow, but tomorrow Marco will be affecting the Gulf Coast and Minnesota. So yeah, big day from Louisiana tomorrow. Hopefully everyone is prepared for this storm because it's going to be pretty intense, although it being a category 1 doesn't mean it's not going to be intense. So think back, of course, Hurricane Isaias hit all the East Coast, did a bunch of damage. So did billions of dollars in damage, actually. As I last saw, like $4 billion in damage. And that was mostly from it being a tropical storm. So that really tells you that a tropical storm can do a lot. But anyways, so we hope for the best. Prayers to anyone in the path of these storms. You know, hopefully everyone is prepared. If you're told to evacuate, please evacuate, because there's a reason why they tell you to do this. Because there's imminent danger within the region that you are in. So, something we can't predict, though, is, you know, where power outages will be. We don't know where and when power outages will go out because, I mean, widespread power outages will be possible with this, but we don't know where they will take place. So, anyways, 2 storms coming up into the Gulf. Very rare weather phenomenon. Going up into the Gulf of Mexico, into the Gulf Coast. We haven't seen something like this since 1933. I have last, or that I've seen anyway, the last time this has happened was in 1933. So, yeah, unfortunately, Laura and Marco will be making, or they will be making landfall, or they will be tracking in the same area that, Laura will be tracking in the same area that Marco will be tracking in. So, prayers to anyone in the path of these again, and hopefully everyone will be safe. But anyways, I think here I will probably go ahead and end the stream. If you want to look through this stream again, you know, just to, you know, keep everything in your head, please do so. Would be very thankful if you did that. Would be very thankful if you are protected and, you know, safe. So, anyways, tomorrow I will be going live. Probably anytime in the afternoon I'll probably go live to do coverage with this storm, because it will be making landfall as a category 1 hurricane on Monday, tomorrow, August 24th. So, but anyways, yep, this will do me for today. And yeah, I'll be live tomorrow at afternoon, sometime in the afternoon. So stay tuned for that, by the way. So, but anyways, please stay safe in this hurricane, because you don't know what's gonna go down. Don't know all what will go down for your area. So yeah. Anyways, rare phenomenon in the Gulf of Mexico, of course. Again, haven't seen something like this since 1933. So, anyways, yet again, please stay safe. Hurricane landfall is upon Louisiana at the moment. Could make landfall early, or it could really affect Louisiana early tomorrow morning. But yep, this makes it for today, and I will be ending today's stream. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe. Peace out, everyone. Have a good night. And I will be live sometime tomorrow afternoon.